At 6 p.m. by our studio clock. Good evening, dear viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the news on Equinoxe TV. Our major stories tonight: the lifeless body of 30-year-old Stefan Fotso has been cut short in a tragic turn of events in Nyala. It is a neighborhood found in Douala 3 subdivision. He was allegedly beaten by his partner during a heated argument over alleged infidelity with a neighbor. We will be taking you to the neighborhood where the tragic scene occurred today. And also we'll tell you how can the new government in Cameroon address pressing issues like economic stagnation, insecurity, and poor governance? With 3 key ministerial positions vacant, observers say the vacancy is hindering progress and exacerbating the country's challenges. All eyes are now on the head of state, who is expected to bring a new team that can push the nation forward. Those are top stories tonight. Thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television. It's a pleasure being with you on tonight's edition of the news. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. We begin this newscast in Koopa village, which is found in the west region of Cameroon, where a 12-year-old girl who goes by the name Jamila, whose nights are now lit only by a bush lamp, a harsh reality for her and many others stuck without electricity for years now. The dim light takes a toll on their health, on their eye health, with many suffering from headaches, blurred vision, and even long-term damage. We have details on the situation faced by the population of that area in this report done by Sericha Couture.
Lundi le 12 janvier 2026, le relief est l'ensemble des inégalités du sol.
With the help of a bush lamp on the table, Jamila, 12 years old, is trying to read her book so as to prepare for her exams. This is because of a lack of electricity in the locality. We are in Koopa, a village in the Fumban subdivision, Nous division of the West region. Here, residents suffer from this lack of electricity for over 5 years.
Les enfants souffrent.
The children are suffering. They can't study properly because they are learning almost everything in the dark with lamps and even firewood.
Tempête. Et même avec le bois de chauffe.
To the chief of this locality,
Voilà pourquoi il y a trop d'échecs dans notre village récemment.
This situation is the consequence of the rate failure in the village.
Réussi à obtenir le CEP. C'est les conséquences de cette manque de lumière.
Beyond the light problem, many complain of visual difficulties, direct consequence of long hours of study in poor lighting conditions.
Quand on étudie ici,
When we study here, there's no light. We use lamps and my eyes often hurt.
j'ai mal aux yeux.
However, a transformer was installed in this locality but got damaged and till today was not repaired by agents of the company in charge of electricity supply.
Côté Enyo, eux, ils nous disent toujours qu'ils vont venir, ils viendront.
As for the company in charge of the electricity supply, they always tell us they are coming, but till now no one has been seen. The project has been there for over 4 to 5 years and they haven't even finished it yet.
C'est 5%, hein, qu'on a couvert dans tout le village, c'est 5%, de l'ordre de 5%. Voici un compteur de Nous, il n'y a rien, ce n'est qu'un décor.
On their part, the distribution company confirms that the project is currently being implemented. Meanwhile, the people of Koopa are called upon to bear their suffering patiently in a daily life still shrouded in darkness.
And now to our major lead story tonight. Stefan Fotso, a man in his 30s, was allegedly beaten by his partner during a heated argument over alleged infidelity with a neighbor. The incident has sparked renewed concerns about the rising tide of domestic violence in the country, with many calling for action to address the issue. Once more, Sericha Couture reports.
This is the home where the murder occurred. The door is still closed since the incident happened. Traces of blood are still visible at the entrance. The compound with witnesses finding it difficult to express themselves on what happened days ago. This is where Solange Bekono, in her 30s, allegedly gave a fatal stroke on her partner's head Stéphane Fotso, with whom she had lived for over 2 years.
Aux environs de 3 heures, je suis comment Solange dit, fiche-moi le camp, ne me dérange pas. Ne me dérange pas, fiche-moi le camp là-bas.
The couple returned from an outing accompanied by a neighbor before a conflict generated between them.
Elle me dit la mère, quand je partais aux toilettes.
She told me, Mom, when I went to the bathroom, Stéphane followed me, and I don't know why. That's where the fight started. Then Solange slapped Fotso on the cheek. He got up and followed Bekono, his partner. Unable to catch her, we managed to calm him down, but that's when she picked a rock and threw it on his head. He then fell.
C'est comme ça que Solange vient avec le caillou. Elle applique, je dis avec force. Le monsieur s'est une fois écoulé.
Seriously injured on the head, Fotso was first taken to a local health center, then transferred to La Cantini Hospital in Douala, where he succumbed to his injuries.
Le 1er janvier, ils ont toujours vécu, la femme avait bu, ils ont vécu une scène ici. C'était la première fois que moi je voyais ça. La femme était sous.
The suspect has been arrested and kept in police custody. However, this tragedy is far from an isolated case. Since the beginning of the year, domestic violence has been on the rise. For Maurice Somo, a psychologist,
la violence est une forme de catharsis, c'est-à-dire une extériorisation d'une frustration interne.
This tragedy is primarily a reflection of profound social frustration.
Un ensemble de frustrations qui prédispose l'individu à devenir violent.
Daily violence that day after day weakens the society.
We'll leave the Littoral region to the southwest region, where for the past 5 years, schools in Muyuka have been shut down due to intense fighting between government soldiers and also armed groups. This has meant students couldn't go to school and teachers were left without jobs. Rex Afon talked to some school administrators and they shared just how tough things were during that time. His report.
Remained closed. The horrifying impact of the armed conflict chased all the souls that were gladly carrying out their activities here.
It was a horrible one to see, because then we had students in the dormitory and we only heard and saw a mob walking towards this end, break into the school, and students were just running. Places were scattered. People came in here looting. Everything we had here was taken.
Even when school managed to partially resume, they could still not behave like their peers elsewhere.
Sometimes we're in school, you only discover strange faces will just barge in and students will start running and all that like. But God helped us with the coming of the ex-student association. We believe from what they have started doing, the ceilings, the fans, and the standby generator, and from what they have said, we know they are going to be of great support to make this school have its grandeur.
Their seniors who have been here before have come to reassure them of their commitment to stand with them through this tough time.
I was here in 72 and left in 77.
This alma mater is to make you know that there have been existing students from this school.
Exactly.
And that we are your parents. I will support you people to move ahead.
During an elective General Assembly in Boya, the alumni, who now have a new executive headed by Barrister Joseph Ngwese, resolved to do all they can to improve life on campus for their junior ones.
Most of us, we went through the academic ladder, and today we have made it in the society.
With the new team we have to visit the school and see how we can introduce our own vision to the school.
Those within Cameroon and in the diaspora maintain that with the advent of peace, prosperity and stability, children who have chosen the path of education, especially in this area, will gladly do so unperturbed.
And now we talk culture. After a 93-year wait, Mulanga village in Tiko subdivision welcomes its new traditional ruler, bringing hope for peace and progress to this strategic community. The enthronement marks a new chapter for the village located at a gateway to the southwest region. Once more, Rex Afon reports.
For approximately 93 years, the people of Mulanga village in the Tiko subdivision lived without a traditional ruler. That long wait is now over.
I cannot take upon myself to build a place. They build a village, they build a country, they build a state with the stakeholders, and then meet each and everyone that we should come. We should stop any distraction, any form of fighting here and there, hindrance here and there. We have a lot to do.
The strategic location of the village at the gateway into the southwest region made it very important to have an authority who will ensure some degree of calm and orderliness.
We are in a gateway. We are at the entrance of the FACO, the southwest region. This is the heart of our administration. This is the heart of of Cameroon. You should have the reunification bridge, a very sensitive place. So we need people to work together.
The divisional officer for Tiko, who has installed the new traditional ruler officially, reminded him of his duties towards his people and the state.
Only been recognized by the administration as the commander-in-chief of this village and sent to Tiko, but also entrusted with the responsibility as the custodian of the customs and tradition of Mulanga. As a chief, you must not only look at the honors that go with the title, but the heavy responsibility you have, and which requires wisdom, tact, and humility to ensure the well-being of your people.
Mulanga village now rejoices as their leader, who departed 93 years ago, returns, but in another flesh.
And now to one of our major lead stories tonight. As Cameroon goes through an unstable political atmosphere emanating from the disputed presidential election results proclaimed by the Constitutional Council, the question about the governments that the country needs at this juncture of her history is a point of concern. Almost all responses question boils down to the change from the old system that has prevailed for decades with what observers qualify as a very poor result. Babila Jonathan has greater details on that.
One word unites opinions on the government that Cameroon needs at this juncture of its history. Opinions converge on the word change.
Il faut aujourd'hui un gouvernement de rupture.
Journalist and publisher Guy Eve Fongang points to a government of change, arguing that Cameroonians are exacerbated with the old system and its poor results that have plunged the nation into democratic backwardness. In other words, civil society leader Ernesto Yene says,
Les gens ont vraiment besoin de voir un nouveau visage.
People want to see new faces.
On veut un gouvernement restreint, réduit à des technocrates.
A reduced government of technocrats who have the necessary competence to reverse Cameroon's current situation of economic stagnation, growing poverty, misery, hardship, increasing cost of living, violation of human rights, and ills like corruption, embezzlement, and mismanagement of public funds.
And now out of Cameroon, 13 school children were killed in the minibus crash near Johannesburg, South Africa, sparking renewed calls for improved road safety. Meanwhile, over 150 worshippers were kidnapped by armed men in simultaneous attacks in 2 churches in Nigeria's Kaduna state. Also, Burkina Faso's ex-president, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henri Damiba, was arrested in Togo and extradited, facing trial for alleged coup attempts back home. More with our lady, Lom McNary.
Since Monday, South Africa has been mourning the loss of 13 school children killed in a collision between minibus and a truck, local authorities announced in a statement. This tragedy highlights the country's dire record regarding road safety. 3 other children were hospitalized and receiving treatment following the accident which occurred near the industrial town of Vaderbench Park, South Africa, Johannesburg, officials specified in an earlier briefing. A new chapter has unfolded in Burkina Faso. The attempt coup d'etat in Burkina Faso in January 3, 2026, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henri Sandaogo Damiba has been arrested and expelled from Lomé where he had found refuge since October 2022. While in exile in Togo after being overthrown by the captain Ibrahim Traoré, Colonel Damiba was regularly accused of seeking to destabilize the succeeding junta. For the time being, Lomé remains silent and Ouagadougou has said nothing. For 5 days, authorities in neither country have communicated regarding this extraction, which was ordered on Friday. While in Nigeria, mass kidnapping and international tension, 160 worshippers were kidnapped during an attack carried on Sunday by armed gangs targeting 2 churches in a remote village in Kaduna State, northern Nigeria. This information was shared on Monday, January 19, by a member of the Christian clergy and a UN security report.
And now we talk sports. Senegalese President Diomaye Faye has praised his country's national football team for their brilliant performance at the just-ended Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, with the Teranga Lions emerging champions of the continent for the second time. President Bassirou Diomaye Faye met with the players as they touched down the airport. The Teranga Lions have been parading the capital with the trophy since Tuesday morning. Meantime, the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, has published the January ranking of African teams, with Morocco first, Senegal second, Cameroon is seventh, and has gained 12 places in global rankings. They are now 45th worldwide. More with our sportsman, Innocent Aze.
The triumphant Senegal team arrived in Dakar just after midnight Tuesday, following the 10th Africa Cup of Nations final in Morocco on Sunday. Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye greeted the Teranga Lions and praised their performance. He said in a statement, "They did it heroically. They played beautiful football. They were incredibly fair and they were exemplary, both on and off the field. We can only be proud of them." Outside the airport, fans dressed in national colors gathered to welcome the players, waving Senegalese flags, blaring horns and chanting in celebration. Throughout Tuesday, the African champions paraded through the streets of Senegalese capital, brandishing the second trophy to Senegalese, who came out in their large numbers on the streets to celebrate victory of their national football team. Senegal, currently in celebration, is ranked second best team on the African continent and occupies the 12th position worldwide, following FIFA World Rankings of African teams in the month of January 2026. The African champions are behind their crossed rival, Morocco, who are first in Africa and 8th worldwide. Nigeria comes third in Africa and 26th worldwide. Cameroon, that was knocked out of the AFCON at the quarter-final by Morocco, is ranked 7th in Africa and 45th worldwide after Algeria, Egypt and Ivory Coast. With these latest FIFA rankings, Cameroon has gained 12 places, marking the highest shift in the entire world.
That sports element done by Innocent Aze ends this first part of the news. Talking Point comes up next. My guest tonight on Talking Point is Professor Marc-Antoine AKUHMBOM. He is a political analyst. Good evening, Professor. It's a pleasure having you on Talking Point tonight. Recently, Issa Chuma Bakari's party, the Cameroon National Salvation Front, announced that they will be boycotting the municipal and legislative elections. It was announced by the spokesperson of Issa Chuma Bakari, Barrister Liscom. How did you receive this news of boycott of the upcoming elections?
You see, during the presidential election, some of us, we actually invested our time, energy to see to it that we pushed for those whom we, or the individual whom we thought was the best, who could represent the wish and will of the people. And unfortunately, after the election, we had a different result. But that, in effect, should never have been a reason why there should be a boycott. I have been in Cameroon since the birth of multi-party election in Cameroon and so-called democracy, and I will tell you, this is the third time a popular political party leader is boycotting an election, and I will tell you it won't be this. I want to say that maybe this one will be different, but I think back in the days of Fundi, we saw that it was not a good decision because he later lost his strength which he had in Parliament. Also in 2020, we saw that somebody like Professor Maurice Kamto also pushed his party to boycott the then municipal and parliamentary election, which resulted to him having no parliamentarian, no elected official, and it resulted to him almost having it impossible to run for the presidential election. And this time around, we are seeing the same thing happen with Issa Chiruma, whom the people tend to believe he was the solution. I think if we have to follow history, then we might consider this to be a mistake as well. But as it is, we are waiting and watching.
But Professor, the spokesperson of the party, Barrister Liscom, claims that participating in the set elections will mean validating the presidential elections which they deem as unfair. They insist President Paul Biya didn't win the elections. Does that reason validate the decision?
If we have to go by popular count, and if we have to go by might be the wish and will of the people, we would be following the declarations of the party, which actually says that Issa Chiruma won the elections based on individual findings, individual results collected, and other bodies and civil society organizations. I am of the civil society organization, and I believe, and I will repeat this, that I stand with the people, not with just the fact that the Constitutional Council made a declaration. But if we have to go by the institutions of the state, the Constitutional Council declared Mr. Biya to be the winner of the elections. And so if the party, Cameroon National Salvation Front, says that they won the election is because they have proof of it, which I think that is the only party that successfully published results based on the written reports that were collected from the field on election day in relation to the fact that, in fact, that's in relation to the law. By those written reports, they declared themselves winners, and so that's proof. No other party did that, not even the CPDM. And worse of it, for the first time in Cameroon, the Constitutional Council did not declare elections based on divisions. This time around, they declared elections regionally and nationally. That which, to me, it was tricky and something that we should ask questions about. But that notwithstanding, as the party claims, they believe that by running for municipal and legislative election, they will be validating the presidency of Mr. Biya, which to them is wrong. But I also want to think that this is not also a time for boycott. I just want to believe that.
Now, what's your opinion on the call made by the CNSF party on other political parties to join the boycott? Is this a feasible approach? And how do you think other parties will respond?
The problem in Cameroon is that we are not a united people, sincerely. not to talk of political parties, the fact that they call them political parties and opposition political parties with different visions, different manifestos, it will be difficult to actually pull in other political parties to join. I think if you look at this, you realize that it had happened before. Not everybody accepted the call. In 2020, the same thing happened. Not everybody accepted the call. So I don't think it is now that everybody is going to accept the call. So I just want to believe that if FSNC or Cameroon National Salvation Front want to boycott, it is not necessary for them to be calling on other political parties to join them. It is true that if in reality Cameroonians wanted change, they would have done what is needed for the change to come. But if you look at it from every indication, Cameroonians do not want change. So you can't force people to get involved in what you do not want them to. In fact, you can't force people to get involved in what they do not want. So I think it is just not the right step in inviting other political parties to join. If they think it is something that is correct for them, then they should do it, not necessarily because they heed to the invitation of the national president of Cameroon National Salvation Front.
Now, Professor, you talked about these different political parties having different visions, different manifestos, but then don't you see another possibility of the fact that greed has eaten deep in the hearts of many of these politicians, reason why they care less about the plight of the people?
The reason, as I mentioned earlier, is because most political parties are actually, they don't join politics for the sake of the people, not to serve. They join politics because they are hungry. It's all about politics. With the hunger, they intend to satisfy this hunger. So they'll better run for the elections, and apart from that, they prefer to see the nation sink and allow it to be the way it is, as long as they can benefit from it. We have seen other political leaders join the ruling PDM. What do you think that was? Well, because they wanted to get what they can eat. They wanted to gain something also. So I still believe that the choice of each political party would depend on why they join the political arena. And if they join the political arena for change, because they wanted to see change, because they wanted to bring change to the nation, then they will know what to do. But if they join because they actually intended to have something to eat, then you should expect that they will do what will help them get what they want. So,
how might this decision of the party to boycott the upcoming elections influence future elections in this country?
I have something in mind which might be coming out of my mouth, might be a little bit difficult, but I want to squeeze some words to describe what I am thinking that is going to actually happen. Look at it. Cameroon, under Mr. Biya, is fit to just be a single party. In fact, we should just say we are doing a single party politics, let's keep the idea of multipartyism aside and go back to single parties, monopartyism. And to tell you that Cameroon is moving forward is a lie, because economically Cameroon is failing. Politically Cameroon has failed. Let's go financially. The nation is deep down in a hole. I don't know how it's going to come up. In fact, everything seems to be failing in the country. Security, everything is bad in the country. So, if you think that people are not aware of it, then there's a problem. The fact that they are aware and seeing the way management is done in the country, where the ruling PDM is the way they handle the political field, they create bottlenecks, they squeeze out energy from those who are struggling to talk or raise their heads up, you get to realize that the least mistake you do in Cameroon, you might end up paying for it with your life. So a lot of people will just fold their arms and sit and wait. We're fighting against Potas apathy, but I'm seeing the nation jumping back into the same pit of Potas apathy. We are seeing the nation actually losing the face that it used to gain with the claims that we were a democracy, that we are losing it fast, because when you see parties boycotting elections, encouraging others to follow their path, it's not because actually they wanted to do so, it's because they think that their voices are not heard, the will of the people not respected. And if the will of the people will be respected, then the people must choose to do what they think is right.
Thank you, Professor Mark Anthony, for accepting my invitation and talking point tonight.
So, meeting me on your show is a blessed day. I just want to extend greetings to Cameroonians and to the people of Kejom-Keku and Kejom-Kuchingu and all my brothers and sisters in the Boya, the Bakre land.
And that's it for tonight's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Stay in the company of interesting programs as Equinoxe comes up next with Serge Alain Otto and his guests. Have a wonderful evening in the company of interesting programs. Bye-bye for now.